everyone, it's Amber, and today I'm here with another manga video, this time an actual haul video for the month of May, I believe. It's kind of hard to remember which month it really is, but I got a decent portion of manga towards the end of May, so I'm going to quickly go through it. A lot of these are not the beginning of a new series, but if there's ones that really stand out to me, then I'll be sure to really put an emphasis on them. So, I will start right away with a shoujo manga. So I have the third volume of the Incurable Case of Love, which is more of a josei, I'd actually say, now that I'm thinking about it. I do know it's rated like 16 plus or something. If I had to take a guess, I want to say this is the same person who wrote, I believe, Happy Marriage or Everyone Wants to Get Married. Not 100% certain, but I do know it's one of the two. This is one of the new series, and I thoroughly enjoy this, and will probably continue to pick up the new volumes as they release. So, moving on to another shoujo, I have volume number 2 of Love Me, Love Me Not. You know, I read the first volume of this series and was planning to do like an impression on it. I don't think it's anything really like amazing, but at the same time, I mean, it's enjoyable. The artwork's pretty good. I mean, it's a standard, typical shoujo art style. Kind of a story that's not really new, but I'm kind of a sucker for anything that has romance into it and has like decent art style, which is the reason why I'm continuing to read this. So if you're like me and just like good art style with some romance, then I would definitely recommend this for you. But it's not a must-get by any means. So, there's volume number 2 of Love Me, Love Me Not. So, moving on, I also picked up volume number 4 of Happy Sugar Life. If you don't know, I actually really love Happy Sugar Life. I think it should get some more attention than it actually has right now. I really enjoy all the sick and like twisted and perverted characters. Yeah. I mean, like, the thing about this one is you never know who's actually, like, correct, who's in the right, and, like, everyone's just so insane. Like, the main girl is just so insane. I actually watched a portion of the manga with somebody and ended up deciding, anime, ended up deciding that I prefer to read the manga first, then go back to the anime. But, I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters. Like, the manga, I feel like it's just as twisted as the anime from what I've seen. But I've really enjoyed it, so I would highly recommend this one if you are into darker kind of themes, really psychological things, and really just twisted and perverted stories. But another one I would highly recommend. I always try and pick it up on the release date. And so I think that it just keeps getting better and better with each volume. Moving on to the next volume, I have volume number 2 of Toilet Ban Hana Cocoon. This is a story that I originally had read a lot of the manga, then I watched the anime of the first season. I felt that the anime was a little rushed in some areas and that the art style wasn't as good compared to the manga. Nonetheless, the anime was still really good, and I still kind of like recommend it. Take the comedy notes of it very lightly because it's really not comedy, I would say, especially towards the later portion of the first season. But I started repicking up the manga and have thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I read a decent portion of Hana Cocoon actually online, so right now I'm picking up the English releases in physical form before actually probably getting to the point where I've read. But I feel like the artwork is really beautiful. I mean, not to fault the anime or anything, I felt that they were a little bit lacking when it actually came to proportions of some of the characters. It does have that kind of look of having really big eyes, like some of the shoujo art style. But yeah, I mean, the anime was pretty good. I don't think it gets close in the manga. Still, I would highly recommend it. Hana Cocoon is another one that I always try and pick up on release date to support the author, and usually it's been really like out of stock, which is a good thing to see for a manga. So that's that for that one. So moving on, I have volume number 14 of The Promised Neverland, which I think does not need any introduction. By the time this video releases, Promised Neverland will actually have finished. And I have some iffy feelings on it because I do read this somewhat online, and I saw the spoilers for the last chapter, of course, and the last couple chapters were just a tad bit rushed for my taste. I mean, I was hoping for a different type of ending, but then again, it's a pretty typical ending that most of these manga series tend to have. I definitely think that the strongest point of Promised Neverland was the beginning part of it, and the Goldie Pond arc was really strong. The later portion seems to just be getting a little bit weak and a little bit rushed, but it is quite a long series, so that can be understandable. The artwork, I mean, I faulted the artwork in the beginning because of the fact that it's not really my style. I feel like it's gotten better throughout the volumes, which is pretty typical for any manga series. To be honest, I haven't actually read this volume yet, physical wise, but Promised Neverland is not one that I'm really good about picking up on release date. I never have been, so I just kind of pick it up whenever I see that it's actually been released and maybe I need to get it. But a lot of people really do love this story for good reason. I just feel like the beginning portion was much stronger than the later portion that is now out. So, there's that. In terms of some of the new series I got volume number 1, which I'm going to put it up so I can put the second one up, of Given, and then I got volume number 2 as well. These are the 2 physical releases of Given that are out right now. Given is a really complex story and maybe not a theme that I would always really buy manga of, per se. I don't have many stories on my wall that are considered shonen AI. This does have the BL subline on it, but I never really consider Given like a BL necessarily. I'd consider it more a story that's really strongly with relationships, because that's what it's not, it's not like so many other stories in the actual BL universe that is just so toxic and so horrible. This is actually a story with really good, relationship, actually talking through things, and people have problems, and I don't know, I just enjoy the whole relationship aspect of it, and it actually has a refreshing kind of vibe to it. And a lot of these characters are really broken, really messed up, and I do enjoy the musical aspect of it too, having been someone who does a lot of singing, just like one of the main characters. You really pour your soul and heart into it, and I think that this series does a good job of portraying the pain and suffering that some people feel, and portraying it also through music. So even though it does have the BL category attached to it, if you keep an open mind, I would definitely recommend this to most people. It's got pretty decent artwork. Did have an anime come out of it. I think the anime did pretty well. Of course, the artwork was a little bit lacking, but the overall story was still the same, and I did enjoy the musical aspects, especially the main character's song when he finally sings. I felt that was really good, and yeah, you see a lot of people crying over this on Twitter, which sometimes I can really relate to. So those are those 2. So the last volume I have is one that I randomly picked up, and I wasn't originally going to buy this, even though I saw the release and saw some people posting about it with the cover, and I thought the cover looked interesting. But I'm not really a type of person who's really big into idol animes or manga. And with this having idol in the name, I was kind of very suspicious of it. But I did end up buying it on a whim, and I'm really happy I did, because I would thoroughly recommend this manga. Thoroughly. If you have not purchased this yet and you do have a manga collection, I would definitely recommend it. Supposedly, I believe it is labeled as shoujo/romance. I would probably say, at least according to this first volume, that I wouldn't put much weight to that. I'd probably put this more as a psychological thriller. It does have themes of abuse throughout it, so if you don't like that type of stuff, I guess there's a little warning there. But it's really good. The artwork does have a little bit of an older, I would say maybe shoujo flair to it. but it's amazing. Oh, I like was so blown away by it, and I really don't want to go to the end. I'm not going to flip towards the end because it does get pretty spoilery, but it's like one of the few series I have picked up in my whole time collecting where I actually read the first volume and was like, I have to have the next one. Like, that is so hard for me to come by. And I was like trying to figure out if I could read it online somewhere, and there's really not much of anything on it online. And I was trying to like figure out when the next volume would come out, which is way too long for me to wait. But highly, highly recommend. Please get this. You will not be disappointed. Don't be fooled by the shoujo romance tag. It looks like it's going to have like a subplot of romance and like some idol stuff, but I would really, really say, according to this volume, like psychological thriller all the way, super twisted, like who do you trust? I just loved it. So, like I said, highly, highly recommend this. Please pick it up. You will not regret it. Yeah, so there's that. So all in all, this is my probably end of the month of May haul. Not too many. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I'm definitely planning on picking up more as the month progresses into June. Some of the new releases just haven't had much in terms of what I'm really looking for, which is what's delaying it a little bit. But yeah, so I actually made another video. Shocking. But so I hope to maybe see you guys in the next video. Hopefully more manga hauls. Maybe an impressions video. I'm really leaning on it towards Not Your Idol because it was just like mind-blowing, and I would love to go deeper into the spoilers and just like, it was so good. That's like one of the ones that I would never expect to like, even to be good or even to be remotely good enough where I'm like actually excited for something. It's been really hard to find with most manga because everything usually follows the same plot line. It's very generic. But yeah, so I guess I will see you guys in the next video, and goodbye!